Hey everybody, it's Garrett's Games coming at you with another game this week. We've got, this time, Hens from Little Rocket Games, designed by Giampaolo Razzino. It is for 2 to 4 players, plays in about 20 minutes, and it has a 10+ rating on it. Now, this is, we like chickens.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We have 3 in the backyard, all right? We get eggs and we eat the eggs and stuff like that. So Hens was a definite get for us because, well, I mean chickens. So this is a game that is just a deck of cards and a little smaller deck of cards and some roosters, all right? So without further ado, let's take a minute and talk about Hens. Okay, so as we said, this is a deck of cards. We also have a small deck of little scoring cards. These are goal cards. We're only putting one of these out, and they're common for every player in that particular game. So there's a bunch of those, which is kind of nice. As well as everybody has a little player aid, and depending upon the number of players, you're going to take out 1 or 2 of the sets of chickens that are in the game. But this tells you that there are 12 of 2 breeds, 10 of 2 breeds, 8 of 2 breeds, and 6 of 2 of the breeds. And then it also tells you how many eggs and medals that are on the birds and on the cards.
It also tells you if there's more than one of that value of card.
That's
the numbers.
true.
So there's a little red square around them. So this one says, that yes, this one makes 2 eggs if it's number 1, but it also there's 2 of those cards.
So of the 12s, the numbers are 1 to 6, and there's 2 of every single one. Whereas here, there's 1 of 1 and 1 of 6, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2 of each of those, and that's how it works.
And here, it's important that you know that.
Right. Yes. And so the cards look like this. So you have everything from, in this case, the what is this? The modern game hen. And so you see that there's 2 medals on this one, as well as 2 eggs. Whereas you might have, here is the Barnevelder.
I'm not sure how you
say that one. The purple cards. And notice that there's just 1 egg on here. And this is one of the 10s. So this is one, there's 2 4s in this particular set. Yeah. So everybody's going to have a hand of 4 cards, and you're going to be looking at those cards, okay? And you're going to start the game by turning over and making sure that everybody sees what the goal is. So in this case, this would be 3 different types of hens where you have at least 2 of those hens in a group, and you're going to get 4 points for that. And down here, you're going to get -2 points for every hen that is just by itself. Okay, so that's the way the scoring cards work. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, but there's always 2 goals on a particular goal card. And what you're going to be doing is out in front of you, everybody's going to have their own little 4x3 or 3x4 grid that you're going to do. On a turn, you are going to draw 2 cards.
That's what you do at the first thing.
That's what you do first thing on your turn. You are then going to play a card and then discard a card to your own personal discard pile. Now, on subsequent turns, the drawing of those 2 cards can be from any opponent's discard pile, not your own, as well as from the draw pile face down. So, but then how do you play the cards? Well, you can play, so say I drew my 2 cards.
All right.
And I'm going to start creating a thing. So this is my hand here. When I'm playing, I can play the same color next to itself, and there's no worries. However, when I'm playing a hen of a different color, it must be exactly 1 higher or 1 lower than all of the adjacent cards. So,
so here, this is a 5 card. He could only play a 4.
Or a 6, which is right next to it, right? So, I mean, I could play either of these 2 cards next to that 5. But what I can do, maybe I want to start and I want to say, okay, well, I'm going to start with the Wyandottes here, and I'm going to play this card down in front of me, and I don't have to set up my 3x4 or 4x3 grid yet, right? And I know that I want to get 3 separate groups of at least 2 hens in each group, all right? And I don't want any singletons. And I'm looking at this and say, you know what? I'm gonna
And then you would discard.
I have to discard one, and maybe I discard this one into my pile. Now, Shelly over here.
First, I would take 2 cards.
She takes 2 cards. Now, she's looking, before I do that, she's looking at her hand, and she's like, oh, well, I could take this gray card from Doug's discard pile, right? And put it in here, because now I've got some 3s, and since I've got 4s and 2s, that's probably a pretty good one. I'm also going to take one. Oh, look at that. So she's got some nice stuff set up here, right? But the nice thing about the 3s, the nice thing about the grays is they all have a metal on them. So maybe she starts by doing this, and she's going to want to keep this one. And she could discard that blue or Wyandotte, but I'm going to want that. So maybe it's like, maybe I don't want both of these 2, so I'll just discard that one, right? So now I don't have anything here. I could take that, and we're just going to go back and forth, right? I'm looking at it. Well, that 5 of purple is going to not be great with that 2. So, but I could take it.
First, you want to take 2 cards.
I'm I'm looking and seeing if I want to take Shell's card. So I'm going to just take 2.
You could have played, though, any of those places, because it's one less.
So I take 2, and I've got this, and now, I've got some yellows. This is going to be a nice possibility, but I can't really play next to there. So maybe I want to take this, let's just risk it, right? And we're going to take this black 4, we're going to put that there, because now I'm thinking I can play this 3 there, and then I don't have to worry about, as long as I play next to yellow, I can play that 6. So those are things that I'm thinking about in my hand. So it goes back and forth like that until you create a 3x4 grid. Halfway through or 4x3. Halfway through the game, you have to put your rooster on one of the groups that you've got.
So you'll have 6 cards down at that time.
Exactly. So 6 cards down. As soon as everybody has 6 cards down, then we're deciding where we're going to place our rooster. At the end of the game, we are going to score our biggest number of hens cards, right? So say I've got, say I wind up with 6 of the blues here. As long as I don't have also 6 of the blacks, which would be really hard since there are only 6 in the deck.
Right.
I'm going to also score this.
So this
here.
one needs to be less than this.
Exactly. Say this was in there at, at the end of the game too. I'd, of course, 4x3 or 3x4 here, right? And so if I had, let's see, this can be played here. Notice that it's 1 above, so we're good on that situation. So at the end of the game, I would score for my biggest group, in this case, 2 points. It would be bigger, of course.
Sure.
And then I would also score for my rooster as long as it's not bigger than my biggest group. The biggest group is going to score, but if the rooster's on it, then only the rooster group is going to score. So you always want to make sure that your rooster group is smaller than your biggest group of hens. So I'm going to get 2 points there. I'm going to get 2 points for this black one, because that's my rooster group. And then I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 medals. And for every 3 medals, you get 2 victory points. So I'm going to get another 2 victory points. Even though this isn't part of one of the groups, medals always score. Then I would check, and of course it's not going to play out with this, but I would check my score here and lose points or gain points based on the goal card, and that's the game.
But you may be thinking, well, isn't it going to be hard to go up exactly 1? Or go down exactly 1 in value? Yes, it is challenging.
It is very challenging,
yes,
right? I could play this one here, but and now that means, and if I was thinking about it, that would be good, because at some point I would be able to play this here. Otherwise, if I had played something different, that 4 fits. I don't have to worry about color here, or numbers. I'm sorry.
Numbers.
Matching color, I don't have to worry about numbers, but I do have to worry about this number here, and so that can only be a 4 or a 6 because of this 5.
And that would mean if it was a 6, that would only work if it was this same breed, the same color here.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
it's very challenging.
It is. It is nicely challenging.
And you sometimes can't do a legal play.
Yes.
And then you would have to turn your card over and play it as a barnyard.
And these are -1 point.
And depending on your score, it could be even more, depending on if there's
because some of the gold cards have negatives associated with it.
Yeah, because these are all very, very
the nice thing, of course, when you play the hen coop is that anything can go by this. You don't have to worry about numerical values.
Except you'd still have to worry about this one.
Well, you would, yeah. But you could build your fourth thing up here, right?
Right.
A 3x4 grid, and you'd be okay.
Sure, exactly.
All right, so what did you think of Hens?
I think it's amazing. I love it. It's so good. It's so hard. I mean, you would think this is really easy. It's just set collection or something like that, but it's not.
Tableau building.
Yeah, but you would think it wouldn't be complicated, but to go exactly one up or one down is challenging. And then if you're having this one where you don't want to score one by itself, you're really having to think.
Right, exactly. I mean, I have 3 singletons down there, and that's pretty painful. Yeah,
you always have to play. You always have to play orthogonally adjacent. You can't plan ahead for. Oh, I'm hoping I get a 3 here or something and play. Right. You have to play next to another card. You can't do something strange with your tableau build, right?
Exactly.
So you really are doing an incredible amount of thinking.
Yeah, and the angst also comes in the discard. Yeah. Exactly. I knew you. Yeah, I wanted to make sure we got that in because you're looking at it. It's just as I was trying to show. I don't want to discard. If this is my hand, Shelly's got that gray. I don't want to give her that gray, right?
But yet maybe you don't need that number.
But and I want to keep the other things based on what I've got in my group here.
Or you want to keep your whole hand.
Oh yeah, of course.
You always want to keep your whole hand. But when you discard into your pile, you can't take from your own pile.
You can never take from your own pile.
And you want to. You're like, oh, and then the other people take your stuff, and you're like, why did I discard that? Why? So there's a lot of angst. It's so good.
It really is good.
I mean, it's incredible that it's that much of a game in a small little card box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, this is Hens from Little Rocket Games, designed by Gianpaolo Razzino for 2 to 4 players, plays in about 20 minutes, and is a really solid card game. Worth checking out, guys. All right, that'll do it for this week. Remember, you can support the podcast by going to patreon.com/GarrettsGames or down in the show notes where we have an extensive list of games that no longer fit on our shelves but belong on your table. Thanks for watching. Remember, thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll come to you next time. Take care. Listen to the audio podcast. See you later. Bye.